Where will the Northeast India Festival be held recently? Italy. Recently, which country has officially declared 3rd September as Sanatan Dharma Day? United States of America. Who has topped in terms of cleanest air in the recent Clean Air Survey in India? Indore. Which country has recently launched its first nuclear attack submarine? North Korea. Which country has recently won the title of the best country in the world? Switzerland. Recently, the governor of which state has launched the tours for the 37th National Games? Goa. Z. Marimutu passed away recently. Who was he? Actor. With whom has the government recently signed an agreement to help children learn AI? Adobe. Recently, India and which country have organized the 21st edition of Bilateral Naval Verona, France? Recently, the former chief minister of which state has been arrested on corruption charges? Andhra Pradesh. Recently, the Supreme Court of which country has removed abortion from the category of crime? Mexico. Which country has recently launched sovereign national digital ID for all its citizens? Bhutan. Recently, the cabinet of which state has approved pension and OBC status for the transgender community? Jharkhand. Where has India's first underground transformer been inaugurated recently? Bengaluru. When has the International Day for Protecting Education from Attack been celebrated recently? 9th September. Who has recently written the novel Ajoy to Yogi Adityanath? Santanu Gupta. Which bank has recently enabled UPI ATM facility on more than 6,000 of its ATMs? Bank of Baroda. Recently, NPCI has signed an agreement with which country's bank for digital payments? Bangladesh. Recently, the cabinet of which state has recommended for removal of OPSPA? Assam. Where has SBI Life Insurance recently launched its first Liveverse studio? Meta. Recently, which country will develop a theme park in the Kartarpur corridor? Pakistan. Recently, the chief minister of which state has flagged off 181 mobile veterinary vehicles? Orissa. Recently, which state government has formed a committee to implement the Nand Baba Milk Mission? Uttar Pradesh. Ajit Ninan passed away recently. Who was he? Cartoonist. Who has recently been appointed by India's surgical robotic firm SS Innovation as its director? Mailaswamy Annadurai. Recently, in which country has the 140 years record of rainfall been broken? Hong Kong. Recently, India and which country have resolved the last trade dispute in WTO? America. Which country has recently launched Hello UPI for interactive payments? India. Which country has recently announced the launch of a global biofuel alliance at the G20 summit? India. When has World Suicide Prevention Day been celebrated recently? 10th September. Where will the world's highest combat airport be built recently? Ladakh. Recently, the cabinet of which state has approved the mob lynching victim compensation scheme? Madhya Pradesh. Where has the Indian Coast Guard recently participated in the 19th meeting of the heads of Asian Coast Guard agencies? Istanbul. Who has recently won the US Open men's single title? Novak Djokovic. Where has Bangas festival been organized recently? Jammu and Kashmir. Which country has recently unveiled a new visa policy to attract foreign investors? Pakistan. Which medal has recently been won by Indian compound archer Prathamesh Zafkar in the Archery World Cup? Silver. Who has been awarded the Dr. A. M. Gokhale Award recently? Sanjay Mishra. Who has recently been elected the president of Karnataka Table Tennis Association? Raksha Ramaya. Which country has recently topped the ICC men's ODI rankings? Australia. Who has recently been honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award in the field of academia? Nazma Akhtar. Who will represent India in the recent Eastern Economic Forum? Sarbanand Sonowal. Who has recently won the Indonesia Badminton Masters title? Kiran Jars. Which ITI has recently done the first national level mapping of soil erosion? IIT Delhi. When has National Forest Martyrs Day been celebrated recently? 11th September. Which state government has recently announced the launch of Kalenagar Magalir Urumai Thogai Tettam initiative? Tamil Nadu. Recently, India and which country have signed a cooperation agreement in the energy sector? Saudi Arabia. Which country has recently signed an agreement with France to buy 10 Airbus aircraft? Bangladesh. Recently, India and which country have launched infrastructure financing bridge? Britain. Dennis Austin passed away recently. Who was he? Software developer. Which railway station has recently received the Green Railway Station certificate? Vijayawada Railway Station. Which state government has recently approved 9 industrial projects worth more than Rs 1 lakh crore? Orissa. Who has recently been appointed as MD and CEO by Tata Steel Board? T.V. Narendran. Who has recently become the fastest player to complete 13,000 runs in ODI? Virat Kohli. Recently, 108 immigrants from which country have been granted citizenship? Pakistan. Where has the Transgender Pride Walk been organized for the first time recently? Lucknow. Who has recently won the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup? Germany. Who has recently won the SAF Under 16 Football Championship? India. According to recent reports, who has been on top in criminal cases against MPs? Kerala. Recently, India has handed over the presidency of G20 to which country? Brazil. Recently, ITIA has banned Simona Halep for how many years on doping charges? 4. Where have researchers recently developed an approach to destroy cancer cells? IISc Bangalore. Jan Wilmot has passed away recently. Who was he? Scientist. Recently, FIH has withdrawn the rights to host Olympic qualifiers from which country? Pakistan. Who has recently won the National Wheelchair Rugby Championship for the fifth time? Maharashtra. Where has the fourth G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting started recently? Varanasi. Who has recently become the second fastest player to complete 10,000 runs in ODI? Rohit Sharma. Recently, Gopal Bagle has been appointed as the High Commissioner of India to which country? Australia. Recently, which country's Air Force will get the first Airbus C-295 transport aircraft? India. Who has recently become the fastest Indian spinner to take 150 ODI wickets? Kuldeep Yadav. Which municipal corporation has recently started Catch for Waste scheme? Patna. Who has been recently appointed as the Vice President of NESCOM? Sindhu Gangadharan. Recently, Hurricane Daniel has destroyed 20% of Derna city of which country? Libya. Where has President Draupadi Murmu recently inaugurated the first global symposium on farmers' rights? New Delhi. Which state government has recently approved the first service sector policy of this state? Uttarakhand. Recently, America has announced the new security assistance of $600 million for which country? Ukraine. Recently, in which state will PepsiCo invest the raise 778 crore to set up a new plant? Assam. Recently, the Supreme Court of India and which country have signed MoU for judicial cooperation? Singapore. Who has recently been appointed the chairman of the Central Center for Himalayan Studies in Delhi University? Vidya Srini Pandey. Salam Sago of which state has recently got GI tag? Tamil Nadu. Who has recently rejoined the European Union's Horizon Research Programme? Britain. Which bank has recently issued nation first transit card? State Bank of India. Recently, which state has decided to celebrate Poila Boishakh on 15th April? West Bengal. When was World Physiotherapy Day celebrated recently? 8th September. Where will the recent Street Style Cricket World Cup be held? Chennai. When has Hindi Divas been celebrated recently? 14th September. Recently, India has reduced the solar energy imports from which country by 76%? China. Recently, the governor of which state has unveiled the Sarpanch Sambat mobile app? Assam. Recently, Madan Lal Regar has been appointed as the ambassador of India to which country? Republic of Congo. Recently, in which fort will Navy Day be celebrated this time? Sindhu Durg Fort. Which state government has recently launched the gift deed scheme to reduce property related problems? Uttar Pradesh. Who has recently launched the Skill India digital platform? Dharmendra Pradhan. Who has recently taken over as the director of SECI? Josit Ranjan. Recently, President Draupadi Murmu ji has inaugurated the Digital House of which state assembly? Gujarat. Who has recently released his first book, The Autobiography of God? Lina Kumar. Where will the recent Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion meeting be held? Mumbai. Which state government has recently appointed actress Mita Basist as the chairperson of the Entertainment Policy Council? Haryana. Recently, China has appointed Zhou Jing as its new ambassador to which country? Afghanistan. In which state Mission Intensive Indradhanush 5.0 has been launched recently? Punjab. Researchers from which IIT has recently developed pharmaceutical and food products? IIT Guwahati. Thank you.